You asked, they said no. Maybe it was gentle. I'm fine. I don't need anyone coming into my house. Maybe it was sharper. I am not going to a facility. Stop treating me like a child. Maybe they just went quiet and changed the subject. And you're left standing there, or hanging up the phone, not knowing what to do next, feeling guilty for pushing, feeling terrified of what happens if you stop. If that's where you are right now, I want you to know something. This is one of the most common experiences in family caregiving, and it doesn't mean your parent doesn't love you. It doesn't mean you failed, and it doesn't mean the conversation is over. Today, we're going to talk about why parents refuse help, the real reasons, the ones underneath the words, and what you can actually do about it. Not tricks, not manipulation, real strategies rooted in respect and love. Before we talk about what to do, we need to understand what's actually happening when a parent refuses help. Because I'm fine almost never means I'm fine. Reason 1, fear of losing independence. For many older adults, accepting help feels like the first step toward losing everything: their home, their autonomy, their identity. A caregiver in the house can feel like a symbol of decline, not support. They're not being stubborn for no reason. They're protecting something that feels existential. Reason 2, pride and privacy. Your parents' generation, in many cases, was raised with a deep sense of self-reliance. Needing help, especially with something as personal as bathing, dressing, or managing medications, can feel deeply humiliating, even when it isn't. And for many people, the idea of a stranger in their home feels like a profound invasion of privacy. Reason 3, fear of what it means. Accepting help can feel like an admission that things are getting worse, that the body is failing, that the end is somehow closer. Refusing help is sometimes a way of refusing that narrative. Reason 4, they don't trust the information. Sometimes a parent is saying no because they genuinely believe they're managing fine, and you're working from a different set of observations. That gap in perception is real, and it matters. Reframe. When you understand the why underneath the refusal, you stop fighting the symptom and start addressing the actual concern. Strategy 1, stop convincing, start listening. Most of us, when we're worried, go into convincing mode. We make the case, we list the reasons, we bring up the incident with the stairs or the missed medication. And almost every time, it backfires. Because the moment someone feels like they're being convinced, they dig in. Try this instead. Ask a question and then go completely quiet. Mom, when you think about having someone help around the house, what worries you most? Then listen. Don't respond, don't reassure, don't argue. Just listen. What comes out of that question is almost always more useful than anything you could have planned to say. The goal of this first conversation is not agreement. It's understanding. That's it. Strategy 2, lead with their goals, not your fears. Here's a language shift that changes everything. Instead of, I'm worried about you living alone, try, I want you to be able to stay in this house for as long as possible. What would help make that happen? Instead of, you need someone to help you get around. Is there anything that's been harder to do lately that you wish you had a little help with? You're not removing their agency. You're inviting them into a problem-solving conversation where they are still in the driver's seat. Strategy 3, start small, absurdly small. The biggest mistake families make is going from 0 to full-time care in one conversation. Of course that gets rejected. Instead, propose something so small it's almost impossible to refuse. How about someone comes once a week to help with grocery shopping? Or what if we tried having someone come help with the yard for a month and see how it goes? A small yes is still a yes, and a small yes almost always becomes a bigger yes once trust is built with the right person. Many home care agencies offer trial arrangements, a few hours a week to start. It lets your parent experience care on their own terms, without feeling like a decision has been made for them. Sometimes you are the wrong messenger, not because your message is wrong, but because of the relationship dynamic. Parents sometimes hear things differently from a doctor, a pastor, a lifelong friend, or a sibling. If you have a trusted person in your parent's life, someone they respect, someone whose opinion carries weight, consider asking them to gently raise the topic. Not to gang up on your parent, but to come from a different angle with the same love. Doctors are particularly powerful here. A physician saying, "I'd feel better if you had someone checking in," lands very differently than a worried son or daughter. If your parent is refusing help to the point where their safety is genuinely at risk, if there are signs of cognitive decline, if they're not eating, if they've fallen and you can't get them to accept any support, it may be time to bring in a professional. A geriatric care manager is a trained specialist who can do an in-home assessment, have the hard conversations with your parent as a neutral third party, and help develop a care plan that accounts for your parents' wishes and your family's concerns. This is not giving up. This is calling in the right expertise for a genuinely hard situation. If your parent is in immediate danger and truly cannot make safe decisions for themselves, contact their physician or your local adult protective services. You may need guidance on next steps, including questions around decision-making capacity. If you're in the middle of this right now, I want to leave you with one thing to try this week. Don't bring up the help, don't make the case. Just call or visit and ask one question. What's been the hardest part of your week? And then just listen. Sometimes the path forward starts not with a plan, but with a conversation where your parent finally feels heard. That is where trust gets rebuilt. And trust is what makes everything else possible. The free resource below includes conversation starters you can actually use, word for word, along with a guide on how to identify the right type of support when your parent is ready. You haven't run out of options. You're just not done yet.